Today we're diving into a really powerful, personal story from Yurii Mills' The Immigrant's Guide to Great Britain. It pulls back the curtain on the invisible and, frankly, precarious life of an undocumented worker in London. This isn't just a story about one person. It's a raw look at a hidden world seen through his eyes. It's hard to work day and night. This one sentence, right here, is the absolute core of this entire story. It's not just a complaint, it's his reality. A relentless cycle of labor that pushes a human being to their absolute limit. Just try to imagine that level of exhaustion, the feeling of never, ever truly resting. So what does a life like that actually look like on the ground? Well, this first part of his account breaks down the grueling, day-to-day reality of just trying to stay afloat on the margins. Okay, so this lays out the brutal arithmetic of his survival. By day, he's doing back-breaking waste collection. By night, it's a sleepless shift loading parcels way outside the city. But you know what the real killer is? It's not just the two jobs themselves. It's the constant travel between them, with absolutely zero time for real rest. I mean, just look at this routine. You can see right away how completely unsustainable it is. He'd finish his day job, sit through a long bus ride home to Kingston, have just enough time to shove some food down, and then turn right back around to travel to his night shift. This brutal loop, yeah, that was the breaking point. It's what forced him to try something incredibly drastic. Faced with this completely impossible schedule, he decides to take a massive gamble. He's going to create a whole new identity, all for the chance to get a single local job. And just like that, he became Tomasas Ibrauskas. Armed with these almost real Lithuanian papers, the goal was actually pretty simple. Get a local waste collection job right there in Kingston. If this worked, he could finally quit that night job and escape the soul-crushing commute. This was his one shot at something resembling a normal life. But you know, under pressure, the whole plan just starts to fall apart, almost immediately. He's sitting there filling out the application and he just freezes. He's so nervous he completely blanks on how to write the letter Z, the first letter of his brand new fake name. He actually writes it backward. A tiny, tiny mistake, but it was enough to completely shatter his confidence. And then came the knockout blow. The interviewer, just glancing at his documents, asks this incredibly simple question. Where's the phone number here to call and check this? I mean, it's a standard thing to ask, but for our narrator, it was basically a flashing sign that said, "You're caught." That was it. His fight or flight response just took over. He didn't even wait for a reply. He just snatched his papers off the desk and bolted. The way the book describes it is just wild. Him running, jumping over fences, his heart pounding in his chest, absolutely convinced he could hear police sirens closing in. His huge, risky attempt had failed, and it failed spectacularly. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? But the story takes a turn. After that complete disaster, a totally different, unexpected opportunity pops up. And this next chapter offered him a brief, tantalizing taste of what a normal, legitimate life could actually feel like. So a friend gives him some advice. Dress the part. He puts on a suit, walks into Kingston Hospital of all places, and somehow he lands a job as a kitchen assistant. Now, it's not glamorous work, but it was a normal job. And for the first time, he had a chance to be seen as just another person, just another worker, not and illegal. But normal definitely didn't mean easy. Come on, look at this schedule. This was anything but a walk in the park. The work was monotonous and unbelievably long. We're talking 7 in the morning to 9 at night. A grueling 14-hour day of checking supplies, washing mountains of dishes, and then standing at a conveyor belt just assembling food trays. But this quote right here gets to the heart of why he did it. Despite all that grueling labor, there was this one profound moment every single day. At lunchtime, wearing his white kitchen coat, he would sit in the cafeteria with the hospital doctors. And for that brief time, he wasn't invisible. He felt a sense of dignity, a sense of belonging. He felt equal. But that feeling, that entire illusion of normalcy, it was just so incredibly fragile. And in the end, it was a simple bureaucratic request that brought his entire world crashing right back down. So after 3 days on the job, his manager calls him in, and the conversation was totally friendly, meant to be helpful, you know? To get paid, he needed a bank account in his own name. The manager just says, "No problem, just pop home, grab your passport, and we'll help you get it all sorted out." For him, that was an impossible request. His response is just devastatingly simple. He just said, "Okay." He walked out of the manager's office, walked out of the hospital, and he never went back. There was no argument, no big dramatic exit. His brief glimpse of a normal life was just over. Just like that. And this final detail, this just captures the quiet desperation of his situation. He'd given them a friend's bank card when he started, and for a while after he left, he kept checking it, just holding on to this tiny sliver of hope that maybe, just maybe, they'd pay him for the 3 brutal days he'd worked. The money never came. So in the end, we've just followed one person's harrowing journey, a story of immense risk and fleeting hope, all drawn from just a few pages of a single book. And it really forces you to ask the question, how many millions of people are living these lives of quiet desperation right now? And how many of their stories will we simply never, ever hear?